Hey guys, my name is Mesh, hope you're doing well, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin chart, and there's actually a lot to get into. So recently we did find somewhat of a bounce at the 50-day moving average at around $51,000. Does that mean we're out of the woods and we're going to be setting new all-time highs next week? Or could we see a lot more downside, and could this just be another small bounce in a much longer consolidation? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to hit that like button. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, then make sure to hit subscribe. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's dive into the charts. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and this is sort of a macro thing, not really on the smaller time frames, is that Bitcoin is actually losing momentum. And the best way I can show that to you guys is by taking the measured move after each bounce from our local bottom. So you can see here we bottomed out after our first correction in late January at around $29,000. And from there we saw quite the bounce all the way up to $58,000, and that was a 100% bounce, and it was almost $30,000. Now in terms of our second bounce, where we bottomed out in February at around $43,000, we had a bounce of 44 to 45%, or a $20,000 bounce. So compared to the first one, a 100% bounce, this one was clearly a lot less significant. So Bitcoin is clearly losing momentum, and it's not going up at the rate it was going up at the start of the cycle. And I think that's even more so the case in altcoins. Altcoins are definitely losing momentum. You can see Cardano has basically been struggling for quite a number of weeks now. And what does this mean? What does the fact that Bitcoin losing momentum mean? Firstly, I do not think that this means that we have set a local top here at $62,000, and that's just the all-time high for the cycle. I don't think that's the case. However, what I do think is that this could be the start of a much more extended or longer consolidation. Not necessarily like just downside, but I think that this slowdown in momentum can be a sign that we're actually going to spend a lot more time consolidating and not just see a bounce next week and start setting new all-time highs right away, which is basically what everyone's expecting and what everybody's used to at this point, right? We just get a few weeks of downside, and then the next week we're setting new all-time highs. So I think that might not be the case this time, and that could definitely shake out a lot of the weekends. I mean, most people are just used to a correction and then a massive bounce to set new all-time highs, and that just might not be the case this time. But we're going to be diving more into the charts, and I'll be talking more about that. Also, one of the reasons why this could be the case, and I've been talking about this chart, I think it's extremely important, is that the dollar index, the DXY, which represents the strength of the US dollar, is actually exploding in the short term. And I know a lot of you have the question, why is the dollar going up so much when the Fed is literally printing money? And I actually do not have an answer to that. Fundamentally, the dollar should not be exploding, but here it is going up. And if you guys don't already know, the US dollar index is inversely correlated with Bitcoin to some degree. So when the US dollar is going down, Bitcoin tends to do pretty well. But however, we are seeing a very strong bounce in the short term. And this could explain why Bitcoin is losing so much momentum. Just this dollar doing really well. However, we are about to come into a very strong area of resistance in the short term. And I think what happens here on the DXY is like so important and something to just really just be watching out for. If the DXY manages to blow past this resistance at 92 to 93, I think we could be in for a much longer consolidation. So hopefully the dollar gets rejected at this level of resistance, but we're going to have to keep watching this chart and see what happens. Now, in terms of another bearish signal on the Bitcoin chart, we are seeing some bearish divergence, some very big picture bearish divergence. So you can see we've been setting here, we have one high here, a higher high and a higher high. However, on the RSI, we're setting lower highs every time we set a higher high on the chart. And that is a bearish divergence and not a good sign. That is a bearish signal. So that's just another thing. Now, in terms of immediate support, where can we expect Bitcoin to bounce? So far, it's bounced pretty well off the 50-day moving average. And in fact, last time, the last correction, we actually found our ultimate bottom at the 50-day moving average. So I think it's possible that Bitcoin coming down to like 50 to 51,000. Let me see the low here. The low 50,400. It's possible that that was our bottom, but I actually think that it's a lot more likely that we are going to be setting lower lows than just this, because we're in such a clear downtrend and there hasn't really been any signals to indicate that we are having a reversal just yet. Although we have seen a bounce on the 50-day, it wasn't a very strong bounce and nothing really to flip our sentiment from bearish to bullish. Now, in terms of where can we go? So first of all, I've noticed this descending triangle here. It's a pretty long descending triangle, and the downside target from this descending triangle is all the way down to $47,000. And I think that area, that target, $47,000 is a very important level. Actually, 47 to 48,000 is a very important zone, and you can see this orange box represents basically that $48,000 level. And the reason I say that's a pretty strong area of support, and I mentioned this last time, I said if we were to basically break all of this support here in the short term, 52,000, 51,000 at the 50-day, and ultimately $50,000, I think we will definitely be seeing Bitcoin come all the way down to $47,000 to $48,000. And the reason I say that is, firstly, this area here is a very strong area of support and resistance. You can see that we got rejected here, struggled to get above it here, somewhat found support here, somewhat found support here, got rejected here, support here, support and support. So 48,000 is a very, very critical zone. And I think if we do break beneath $50,000, we can definitely be expecting Bitcoin to come down to 47 to 48,000. But in the immediate short term, it has bounced on the 50-day. Let's see if this is an actual bounce and we do some kind of reversal, or we are going further down. Again, my sentiment, my idea is that I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. And although we did see that bounce, I do think that we're going to have some more downside. And the reason for that is because that is the breakout target from this descending triangle that we're having, all the way down to basically 47,000. It goes down a little bit lower, but it's basically in confluence with this area of support that I've been talking about. And also because of this bearish divergence on the RSI. So I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. However, I hope I'm wrong and the 50-day is our ultimate bottom like last time. Now, in terms of upside, I think, first of all, for me to flip bullish on Bitcoin, and I said this last time, I want to get above basically $57,000. That's where we had our previous high here. So I want to see Bitcoin set a higher high before getting bullish whatsoever. But until we break above $57,000 and close any kind of daily candle above there, I think we can expect to see Bitcoin go lower and basically come down all the way to the breakout target from this descending triangle and down to this $48,000 level. Again, although I'm bearish on Bitcoin in the immediate short term, I'm like still extremely bullish on Bitcoin for the remainder of the year and the remainder of the cycle. So just because I think that Bitcoin could come down to $48,000 does not mean, and I have to put out this disclaimer because I don't want people to think that I'm ultimately bearish on Bitcoin. I still think that Bitcoin has so much more room to go in this cycle. But I think that in the short term, there's basically no reason to be bullish on Bitcoin just yet. We're beneath the 21-day. We're having a lot of downward momentum. The DXY is absolutely exploding. So in the short term, I am still bearish. And like I said, I think that extended downtrend of like maybe a couple months is definitely on the table, and it's definitely possible. And this slowdown in momentum on Bitcoin could be indicating that this is not like a correction that we've seen before. And that's going to shake out a lot of people. So that's going to be interesting to watch in the crypto space. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you found any kind of value from it, then make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more TA like this, I keep the TA fairly simple and I don't feed you hopium. If you want to see more TA like this, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.